Since the Fujifilm SX20 came out, it's been a camera I've recommended to a lot of people. It's a great beginner camera, and I think it's also really great for an intermediate who's looking to get something more modern, who's coming from an older DSLR. However, I haven't actually been able to use the SX20 until now. It's been a camera I've recommended a lot, based on reviews I've seen and specs I've read, but I haven't been able to get to play with it myself. Fujifilm was nice enough to send me an SX20, along with the 16-80 f4 lens, for me to take a look at for a few weeks, so now I can truly tell you 5 reasons why the Fujifilm SX20 is a great beginner camera. Starting off with number 1 is the size of the camera. The SX20 isn't a huge DSLR, it's not a big mirrorless camera, it's much easier to go from your phone to an SX20 than it would be to a larger camera. And I think this is really important. When you're just getting into photography, the best way to learn is by shooting more often. If you're shooting photos and videos every day, you're gonna get better quicker. But if you have a large DSLR or a large mirrorless camera, you're not going to shoot every day because you're not going to take your camera everywhere with you. The SX20 is a great size where you'll feel confident and comfortable carrying it around with you all day, which will lead you to take more photos and videos, which means you'll get better quicker. Now, being that the SX20 is a smaller camera and at a lower price point, you may think you're sacrificing build quality and handling, and that's just not the case. I've used the SX20, I've used the Sony a6400, I've used the Fuji X-T20, I've used a bunch of different cameras in this price point and in this size and form factor, and the SX20 is by far the most comfortable camera I've held. I even find it more comfortable to hold than something like the A7CR, which is much more expensive. The grip on the Fuji X-S20 is great for the size, it's really comfortable to handle all day long, and it really impressed me. The second reason the Fujifilm X-S20 is such a great beginner camera is because of the ease of use. Cameras can be super complicated, especially when you're coming from something like your phone or an older DSLR, which is just less menus, less complication, no video features to think about. The Fujifilm SX20 makes it really easy to just pick up the camera and go and get into it. And that can't be said about every camera. From the dial to change your film simulations, to the filter mode to help dial in specific looks, to the vlog mode to get the most cinematic looking video with the least amount of effort, the SX20 has a lot of great features to help beginners flourish when they're just starting out and help them get great content from the get-go. One of my favorite features the SX20 has is the film simulations and the recipes that come along with them. I'm a huge fan of Fujifilm recipes. They allow you to get really creative and get awesome looks straight at a camera. This is great for a beginner who doesn't want to spend a ton of time editing, doesn't want to learn editing, and just wants to get a good looking photo right out of their camera. Now, these ease of use features aren't for everyone. Personally, as a more advanced shooter, I'm not using them much at all. That being said, when I was starting out, I would have killed to have these features. To be able to put the camera in vlog mode and get great content without having to focus on, is my exposure right? Or how am I getting this blurry background? It's really awesome for beginners to be able to pick up their camera from the day they get it and get great looking content. And I'm glad that Fujifilm included it in the SX20. Now, speaking of vlogging, the third reason that makes this camera such a great beginner camera is that it's not just great at photos, but it's got amazing video features as well. From 4K 60 10-bit to 6K open gate to a dedicated vlog mode, this camera packs a punch in the video department. So if you're a beginner who wants to start vlogging or create mini short films, this camera can do that. A lot of cameras in this price point don't have the same video features that the SX20 offers, making it a great camera for hybrid shooters who want to learn a little bit of photography and also want to learn videography. I've been using the SX20 to shoot B-roll around New York City and some talking head YouTube stuff, and I've never felt limited by the video features the SX20 has. And I can't say that about other cameras in this price point. I was super impressed with the video features of this camera. The fourth reason that the SX20 is such a great camera is because it can grow with you. With a lot of beginner cameras, you'll use them for 3 or 4 months and you'll quickly outgrow them. The SX20 isn't like that. You have a lot of amazing features that you can grow into. So you can start off shooting in vlog mode, but then you'll move into 10-bit, and then you'll start shooting in F-Log 2. There's a lot of features where you can start really easy and basic, and then move and get more advanced. So this camera is going to last a lot longer than your other beginner cameras. You'll be able to hold on to this camera longer, you'll be able to get more out of the camera, you'll be able to get better quality out of the camera, and you won't have to upgrade nearly as soon as if you were to get a different beginner camera. And the fifth reason this camera is such a great camera ties right into the fourth: the value it offers. This camera can do so much at its price point. At the time this video was released, the XS20 cost about $1,300. When you look at the other cameras in this market segment, things like the Sony a6700 and the Canon R7, they're both more expensive with the same, if not worse, features than the XS20. This just really cements the value that the XS20 offers. When you can get more for less, you know it's a good choice. Sure, there are thousands of videos just like this one saying this is the best beginner camera or that is the best beginner camera. But at the price point, the value, and the features that the SX20 has, I truly think it's the best beginner camera out. Especially when you're looking at cameras between the range of $800 and $1,500, the SX20 really stands out. For now, go out, create some content. Thanks for watching.